Hello, welcome to the ARWP podcast, the All Real Wrestling podcast, with your co-hosts Eric Novak
and Jason Smith.
All right, Jason, what do we got on the ball today?
Well, today we're going to have a whole bunch of multiple topics that we will discuss today. However, I think we should start off with the basic. Me and Eric got into wrestling for two different reasons, but I thought we can go over attractions to wrestling. What makes a good wrestling fan? Would you like to start off, Eric?
Sure. What specifically do you want me to start off with this time?
What got you into wrestling, and what do you think wrestling fans get? Like, how do you think companies should attract more fans?
All right. Here's the honest story of what got me into wrestling. It was, I believe, 2015. It was the Raw right after SummerSlam, the one where Sting shows up, the Dudley Boys debuted, everything. And my brother got these tickets for me and my friends. I knew nothing about wrestling. All I knew was that summer, I started doing research on it, and I went on Google once, and I just typed in, wrestling or something, because I didn't know what WWE was. I don't know any of that. I typed in wrestling. Clicked on a match, and it was TNA. It was Impact already. It was TJ Perkins, TJP, as Manic, not the original Suicide Manic. His new look, the one with the hoodie and the mask, all that. And he versus DJZ. And immediately, like right after that match, I fell in love with pro wrestling only because of, the way TJP, aka Manic, was wrestling and the way he looked. So personally, for me, it's all about the look. If you have the look, I think you got people's attention. And I believe TJP was going for this, like, Spider-Man, Deadpool / more related. Like, I feel like it was a more modern, because I know he used to be Manic. He changed the whole name from Suicide. He kept the same suit, though. But then he changed all of that. He changed the mask. He changed the outfit. Then now he has a hoodie. He's got like half a mask where his hair was showing instead of closing the hair. And his mouth was open. So it was more of like a modern day Scarlet Spider. It was like a modern version of Spider-Man. A more updated, more young, more teenage. And it was all about the look. And same thing with, other wrestlers. For me, it's always about the look. For me, it's always about, the gear they're wearing, the taste they have, and definitely the way they wrestle. TJP's always got my attention with the way he wrestles. He's got this, cruiserweight, technique. He's really slick when it comes to it. Same with DJZ. As I fell in love with Manic, I also really enjoyed, DJZ, aka Jaquin Wild in NXT. Both of them are doing great right now, and I can understand why. What about you, Jason? What match, what reason did you fall in love with wrestling?
The first ever matchup that I watched was Randy Orton versus Rey Mysterio on SmackDown in 2004. I was 5 years old. Now, I know what you're thinking automatically. How do you remember that? Well, the only thing I can remember from that match was Randy Orton defeating Rey Mysterio and just hitting his pose. Now, when he hit the pose, I was immediately invested to the point where I was just automatically, I wanted to know there was more people, because as soon as I started watching it and I looked at the whole show, because that was the main event of one of the shows, so when I saw it came on next week and I saw all these other different dudes, I'm like, wow, these are some big dudes, some huge guys, Undertaker, Batista, Bobby Lashley, all those people are just godly muscles and maximum. And then my love for wrestling continued to grow as a basic fan who didn't like anything more. The only thing that I liked at the time was storylines and the fact that they slam each other. That was literally the only interest I had at the time.
Well, yeah, you were a 5-year-old. You didn't understand much.
Now, as I grew older, let's say, and I watched more wrestling, I took a little break from it, but then I caught back up in around 2013, and I caught up with everything, and I watched it all to catch up just to see what's going on. And I started to grow into the actual fundamentals of the sport, the storylines, the fighting, the different types of wrestling styles, such as high-flying aristocrat abilities, strength by numbers, amazing groups, factions, and the whole thing for just a faction in general. And so as 2013 passed to 2014, I watched everything from that point on to 2016, and that was when I discovered there was more companies than WWE. Now, as I got out of WWE, I started to get into indie wrestling, such as just a couple little spots. Once in a while, I look on YouTube, just type in a wrestling match from random people in high schools, and then I found New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I see that there were a whole bunch of different people, looks, designs, characters, and then you see that they're hitting each other like with real force and strong style, as they call it. And from that point on, I decided that I wouldn't just be a one wrestling guy. I would be a multi-wrestling fan, a guy that doesn't just pick a company and sticks there, a guy that enjoys the sport in general. And to that point, right now, I feel like what attracts a wrestling fan, definitely storyline, as Eric said before, gears to catch the attention of people, and then all in all, has to be chemistry with every single person that you step into that ring with, because if you don't catch the fans' eyes even once, they're not going to be interested. But if you keep on the grind and you continue to make that magic, this goes for all companies right now, you're going to be successful.
All right. I just needed a minute of silence just to take in all of that, because that is all 100% true. Please don't just be assigned to one company. I know you guys are out there. I know some of you are assigned to one company as the main company. Don't look out. Look at the other top talents out there, and you'll find something amazing with these companies. New Japan, ROH, Impact, CCW, PWG, millions. I can't even name you all of them because there's just so much. So please check it out. That's the lesson that I believe me and Justin both gave you guys, that it doesn't have to be WWE related to be amazing. All right, Jason, I think we told them our story. I think we told them why we like what we like. Anything else you want to bring up?
Well, let's dig on into, how about we go over this week of wrestling, Eric? Let's go over, we'll go over Raw, SmackDown, Impact, and NXT and AEW.
All right. Do you want me to start, or do you want to start?
You go, man. I'll let you go ahead. Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Raw. Huh. I like the fact that I get to see a tag team that I really think can make it work out. Ricochet and Cedric. Two guys who are not being used properly, hopefully can have an opportunity after Mania. Because apparently no other tag team is out there to verse the Street Profits, the club. But yeah, we'll get Andrade and Garza, two guys that have no chemistry, super talented, and I don't know, Justin, is there anything else you want to add on to that statement? I mean,
to that statement in general, or
yeah.
Raw in general?
No, just that statement. Like anything else Andrade and Garza have that make them a black horse, I think.
I'm not gonna call them dark horses. Just gonna call them two guys that are doing what they have to do, basically.
Yeah. All right. So I guess Vince or whoever is writing the script for them doesn't believe there's any other tag teams on Raw. And personally, did I like Raw this week? No. Did I enjoy it? No. Did I watch it because I need to be updated with wrestling? Yes. And The only good thing I can tell you was between Ricochet and Cedric. I honestly would have preferred, other wrestlers getting opportunities instead of Andrade and Garza because isn't Andrade United States champion?
Yes,
Shouldn't he do something with that?
I agree.
Okay. Guys, I'm sorry. I'm not a hater. I'm not. I like WWE, but this week has not been good. So I have nothing else about Raw. I think the Shayna Baszler and Becky Lynch thing was very, very boring. I think Randy coming out there to look at nobody and just say you got the match edge was terrible. I'd prefer Randy have a match at least. I don't care if it was a squash match. I would have just preferred that. But man, it's a blank. Jason, were there any other matches on Raw?
No. No, just a lot of segments and past WrestleMania matches.
Oh yeah, I love the fact that I bought the network so I wouldn't have to.
If I'm going to watch the Royal Rumble match from 4 years ago, I would watch it.
Basically, all I'm saying is I like what they're doing, I guess. Like I like the Cena and the Bray Wyatt match. I really like seeing that on TV because that boosts for the rivalry that they're gonna have soon. But it's like I bought the network for a reason, right? So why why am I watching people? I want to watch actual live wrestling. They have talent. Like come on, guys. Like if you're committed to doing ready, and here's my thing. With what's going on right now, you're not allowed to have more than 10 people in one room, right? I believe the ladder match is having 6 guys. Like, come on. If you're gonna do a 6-guy ladder match, but you can't put 2 guys in the ring, and you're like, come on, I'm sorry. There's just a lot of things that WWE is half-assing. And that's the only way to describe it. It's half-assing just so they don't lose viewers while they're doing this. But usually, I talk about the awesome talent on Raw. And the only thing I couldn't tell you about Raw was I loved the tag match. Because all 4 men gave it their all. The wrong team won. And if they lose to the Street Profits, you know how bad it's going to look on the United States champion and Angel Garza? There's no way out for them for this. There's no way out. Jason, talk about Raw. What do you think about Raw?
Monday Night Raw. Let's see. The first segment with Brock Lesnar was bored out of my mind.
I forgot about that. I forgot
exactly.
About that.
I did not get to see Drew McIntyre, the whole Raw. Now, I'll give him credit. You're trying to build Brock Lesnar up as kind of like a dominant champion by replaying Brock Rollins and seeing at the Royal Rumble of 2015. And I will give him credit. That was a good match.
I love that match when I watched it on the network 2 weeks ago.
Huh?
I loved that match when I watched it on the network 2 weeks ago.
I mean, I honestly loved that match. I'll give him credit. But that's not going to make me hype for the man by showing me something he did 5 years ago. Come on now. But the thing is, with wrestling and with Raw was the most interesting thing that happened on Raw was that tag team match and the ending segment with Randy Orton. That is literally everything. That was, I can see why Raw got the lowest ratings of the week.
Yeah, sorry guys, I'm not gonna bore you. We're gonna skip Raw. There's just nothing good to say about it, and we're not like that. We're not gonna crap on a company for trying to half-ass. We're not gonna waste our time doing that. Tell me about ROH, Jason. Did you watch ROH this week?
Ring of Honor Wrestling. Wow. Honestly, I can. Wow, I really don't. You know what? No. Actually, I don't have anything to say about Ring of Honor Wrestling besides the fact that they're doing what they have to do, if we're being 100% honest. They're still putting on matches. they're still throwing out things, and they're still just laying it out on segments, and they're doing a whole bunch of basically like a whole bunch of stuff that they can't do. I mean, recently some matches that's been going on are okay. Any matches that you liked out of Ring of Honor this week?
It's a lot of pre-taped stuff, and like the beginning of it was just highlights. I mean, the Briscoes and Jeff Cobb was very entertaining. Anytime I get to see Jeff Cobb, I really enjoy it. Jeff Cobb, one of the best talents. I don't know. I think it's very short. I think Ring of Honor is amazing, and again, these are pre-taped matches. So I already saw that at Bound by Honor. That already happened. But again, they're doing what WWE is doing, and they're giving you pay-per-view matches, and it's like I'm kind of happy because and this is like not biased. They gave me Ray Horus versus Alex Shelley. That's one of the best matches. I feel like what Ring of Honor is doing is they're not half-assing it. They're telling us as it is. They're not gonna give you anything new. They're just gonna give you the old stuff. They're they're not like WWE. They're not like lying to you by telling you, oh, you're gonna see something new while you're getting old stuff for an hour long. I remember SmackDown. Well, we'll talk about it later because it was SmackDown. It was yesterday. But yeah, I loved Alex Shelley versus Ray Horus. You can watch that, now on Ring of Honor. And other than that, it's like I don't know. ROH isn't trying anything right now. They're not. They're just giving you, pre-taped stuff, and it's okay if you, zone out for now. They're not lying to us, not telling us, oh, we're trying hard to give you things. ROH, in my opinion, was decent. I believe there was, 2 good matches out of 3 that I checked out because as a wrestling fan, I'm going to go on YouTube and watch wrestling either way. I did it with ROH by just watching their episode.
Honestly, if we can move on from Ring of Honor, first off, we have a lot of that to talk about later, but for now, Ring of Honor this week, I can at least say that they were better than
Raw. And that says a lot because they were all pre-taped matches. But let's talk about, in my opinion, the best, thing they can get on Tuesday. I don't think anything else is on Tuesday other than Impact TNA. Now, Jason, do you want to start off with Impact, or do you want me to start off with Impact?
Well, since you did the majority for Ring of Honor, I can start this one off.
All right.
Impact immediately became the best show of the week just by their opener. That says a lot just by itself. I mean, X Division is different. It's not like cruiserweights. You don't have to be 205 pounds or you don't have to be a certain weight limit. You're going to have big dudes like Willie Mack in there who dominates, but then has great chemistry with these smaller dudes such as Trey or, or Daga with all these other people. But the thing that I see with all 6 of those men, you want to know the common thing between all of them? All 6 of them are going to be champions this year.
Really?
All 6 of them.
Really?
I can guarantee it.
Wow.
All 6.
That's a big guarantee. Daga, Trey, AC Romero, man. Chris Bay. I mean, all 6 guys. Wow. I don't know if I'd say that.
Now, of course,
I think half,
the
maybe.
Impact match itself, there were 8 guys. But the reason why I say 6 is because Jake Chris and Willie Mack, those guys are automatically, excluded from that because they've been champions before.
But Willie Mack is just won, so he's going to go for the...
That's true.
You think he's going to lose?
I can come quickly, but when you look at people like Trey, Cousin Jake, Daga, AC Romero, Rahit Raju, and Chris Bay, those guys will be champion this year in Impact Wrestling.
I'm really excited to see that. I like all of them, and I really want to see them achieve that goal.
Now, the one thing that was a little bit much this week, but like kind of a little low paced match that I didn't really put as much attention as I should have was OVE versus Rhino and Sabu.
You know what's funny? Me too. I was more interested in the Moose match, you know? And let's talk about this. For all you OG TNA fans, I tell just this all the time. You can't watch TNA or Impact without their mascot, without their one guy who should forever be like different wrestlers putting on the mask. You know what I mean? Every wrestler at one point should change and be this guy, and that is Suicide, aka Manic, and that's what we got. And that's what we got today. I mean, Tuesday when we got Moose taking out everybody from the old TNA, era, but then was blindsided when Suicide came out and gave him a good ass whooping. So I'm excited to see Suicide maybe next week, maybe the week after. But if I could see Suicide more often, that's really big for Impact. Impact is definitely making a huge change if they bring back. Plus, it was a different version of Suicide. This is more of a cinematic universe gear. This was more of like a Scarecrow, Batman kind of thing. That did not look like your original Suicide. That was definitely some scary looking version. And I really hope they use more often. I hope they use that more often.
I definitely didn't see no oven mitt gloves, man. I just saw.
Hey, man.
Your hair.
Hey, man. I don't know what those shots are going for, but you be careful. Let's talk about a match that, in my opinion, wasn't as good as I wanted it to be as well, and it was basically the Rascals versus Reno Scum.
Mm-hmm.
Because they just attacked Dez mad early in the match, and they were just whooping his ass at the end of it. And I like Reno Scum. I like the Rascals. I'm hoping this is a push. I'm hoping this is like some kind of a proving I'm good enough for a title opportunity kind of thing. But I don't think it's over. I think because Dez got attacked before the match, and they just manhandled him like that. I think there will be a rematch between these guys, and I feel like maybe that next one we'll see a true match between those guys. You know what I mean?
I understand. I feel your disappointment because I'm not going to say I had high expectations, but when I see the Rascals, I always feel like there's a bar that I want them to set, and I don't think they reached it this week.
No, yeah, I agree. The tag match did not reach the bar that I wanted it to go as well. I don't know. You want to give the next match?
Next matchup was, well, not matchup, more like a fight, was with Su Yung and Jessica Havoc. Now, with these two and their War of the Undead Realm and they've had for almost 2 years now, is starting to get a little bit more liked, in my opinion. Now, I'll be honest with you. I can be the first one to say it. When I first saw these guys in this whole rivalry thing, I thought it was stupid. First thought, just thought it was a dumb idea. But then, they started doing a little bit more storytelling with James Mitchell. And then I was just like, this is actually pretty entertaining. So I can actually say, for the first time, I'm really looking forward to see what's next for both of those women.
We're not going to spoil the Undead Realm for you guys because, not everyone gets a chance to watch everything every week. So that'll be a thing for you guys because, something major does happen. Some character, gets hurt. That's all I'm going to say. But let's go with the main event. Taya Valkyrie, Michael Elgin, Eddie Edwards, and Tessa Blanchard tag team match. Eddie and Tessa, Taya and Elgin. I knew where this match was going to end. I knew how it was going to end, and this just gets me intrigued to how well can they be in a ring together. And now, what's the chemistry like with so much hating, revenge.
I feel like that match was. You're probably not going to agree with it, but I feel like it was just basically another reason why Michael Elgin is going to continue to dominate and continue his goal of becoming world champion. You saw how it happened when he hit that major lariat on Tessa Blanchard. Didn't even hesitate. Did it, went to walk in, power bomb, Elgin bomb, buckle bomb, took the victory, and got that advantage at lockdown for his team. Now, right now, when you think about it, holy crap, he really just did that. Wow. It's whatever. People are just like, well, it's an advantage match. It's nothing serious. But that's what you guys think. He could lose this lockdown match, or he can easily win. But regardless, at Rebellion, it's his time.
All I will say is, Impact is doing a good job at hiding Elgin, making it more of a Tessa and Eddie story and less of an Elgin story. That's all I'm going to say with that. I still want Eddie Edwards as my Rebellion winner, but I'll be happy if Elgin wins. I'm not a hater against Elgin. We will just have to see. That is your Tuesday Impact this week. Wednesday. I love Wednesdays. AEW and NXT. Jason, did you watch AEW?
I watched AEW and NXT.
Awesome. So did I. What do you want to start off with?
Let's go ahead and start off with All Elite Wrestling.
All right. Where do I start? This is probably my favorite show. Probably my favorite episode of the week. You know what I mean? Like through all the companies that we watched, AEW probably won this week of wrestling, in my opinion. They beat Raw. They beat ROH. They most definitely beat Impact this week, only because not enough was happening. As we talked about, there were matches for Impact that weren't great. So let's talk about All Elite Wrestling and how they started, where they went, and again, it's beautiful in my opinion. I love it. So let's talk about the first match that we encountered with All Elite Wrestling, and that was the whole thing between how do I describe it? This wasn't built for a rivalry type thing. It was more of like a small scape. You know what I mean? It wasn't meant to be anything more, but it also wasn't meant to be anything less at the time.
Okay, that's fair.
It was, if I'm not wrong, it was a thing between Jake Hager, if I'm not wrong.
The first match of the night was Cody Rhodes versus Jimmy Havoc.
That was the first match of the night?
It was.
Oh, you know what I'm thinking of? I'm sorry, guys. I was thinking about AEW Dark. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm like, there's so much to remember. I'm over here trying to get everything in. Of course, yeah. Cody Rhodes and Jimmy Havoc. That's a match I've always wanted to see. That's a match that, for me personally, as a Cody fan, that's a match that I definitely wanted to see for a long time. And I thought they did everything. I thought they fought everywhere. I thought it was really comedic to see, Jimmy Havoc talking to the microphone for us, the audience. Cody leaving the whole ring just to jump on him, do his famous, splash. There's so much, that you can enjoy from All Elite Wrestling. And I like the fact that Cody was doing commentary right after the match. Like, right after the match, he went right into doing commentary. It was pretty good. The whole Jimmy Havoc and Cody match definitely was the perfect start. We talk about perfect starts. That was a good start for All Elite Wrestling. I thought that, having Kenny Omega during the commentary, during that match, was even better. But it's good to see Jimmy Havoc being used more, especially against Cody, the best face versus, a big heel. Any thoughts about that match, Jason?
With Jimmy Havoc and Cody Rhodes, those guys are really interesting because you actually don't know who's going to win, in my opinion. I mean, some people could say, oh, he owns the damn company. He's obviously going to win. But when you really think about it, Jimmy Havoc went undefeated for 3 straight matches now. And so the fact that they put him against a high man like Cody Rhodes, you're just starting to see how, he's starting to build up that tolerance for kind of like main event spotlight without being in the main event. Because if you want me to be honest, after he hit that acid rainmaker, I thought he was going to take the victory. But Cody Rhodes pulled it off and got a little momentum going for the Elite. So the match was what I expected it to be. Two good people that have a whole bunch of experience in different companies coming into one to make a pretty good opener.
Yep. I believe All Elite Wrestling did not miss a beat whatsoever. I feel like the way they did every match, it was connected. Like, I love the whole backstage gambling scene with the gun family against Sean Spears. But another favorite was the match right after Cody's. It was Darby Allin versus Kip Sabian. I'm a fan of both these guys. I like both these guys. So to see them in a match, one-on-one, was pretty cool. I like, how it happened. I like the winner. I would have loved it any way. If Kip Sabian won, I would have been happy. If Darby Allin won, I would have been happy. I think that was more of a dream match for me. I think both guys gave it their all. I think Penelope Ford did everything she needed to do. I think that match probably one of my favorites throughout the night. I think the whole beginning of AEW is probably amazing for me. I loved All Elite Wrestling.
I feel like Darby Allin versus Kip Sabian was a good match, and with Cody Rhodes on commentary, it just made it a lot more smoother, putting over these young, talented, and both of his experiences on Dynamite facing both men. He honestly just proved that these guys can kick each other's butt, make it look good. And I was very happy that Darby Allin won. Maybe he can start rebuilding some momentum and get back to the top of maybe the top of the leaderboards of victories and losses in AEW for stats wise. And as for Kip Sabian, honestly, I can see him doing a little bit more, but I feel like he's got to start stacking some victories up sooner or later, because I think he's lost the past maybe 4 matches. Lost to Joey Janela on AEW Dark. Lost in a mixed tag match against Kenny Omega and Riho on the Cruise. And now lost to Darby Allin. This guy's got to, I'm not going to say not to step up because he's already up there. It's a great competitor, but he's got to start getting some dubs, man.
I agree. I agree with everything you said. Let's go to the whole little bit of an insult type promo. It was the Brody Lee promo where he is eating steak in a suit. Jason, do you know the story behind that?
I do not. Please explain it.
So Brody Lee pitched an idea, and this is a rumor that I heard. He wants to do this promo because it reminded him of something he once had to witness. His own boss, who wears a suit, had to eat first. He couldn't sneeze in the table. It was his previous boss from a previous company.
Mm-hmm.
So that was more of a slap back. People thought that Brody Lee was playing the role of a certain chairman.
Indeed.
And that was basically an insult. I laughed, and I enjoyed the promo. That was a pretty cool promo. For a little bit of a slap in the face to a specific man who didn't give him enough credit or give him the push that he needed. I liked it. Let's talk about QT Marshall. I don't know much about him. Not a lot about him since AEW started. I do know that he had a 1-on-1, and it
It
was against Brody Lee. And
it was.
this was the kind of match where you're like, okay, a guy that I barely heard of over the Exalted One.
The Exalted One.
We both know who's gonna win that match. We both know that there was only gonna be one man walking out of there. I didn't think Brody Lee was gonna offer him the mask, though. I didn't think it was gonna offer him to join, and now QT has to decide. We left him on a cliffhanger. So I think I enjoyed it. It was Brody Lee's first match, so I get why it had to be a quick, easy victory. I just think that Brandon Cutler would have been a little bit better. Someone who actually is losing. I thought, like, because QT is part of the tag team with Dustin Rhodes and Brandy, so it's like, was he really the right guy to use for this? That's all I'm saying. That's all I got. In my mindset for that match. Anything you want to talk about?
It was a good way to put Brody Lee over. The segment was hilarious. I honestly cracked up when he basically was just like, "No, you can't eat until I'm done." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, he's one of those guys."
He told that's a story that he had to witness on his own on the other side.
Right.
So that's how we get a brief description of how a specific guy acts during a dinner.
Yeah, a specific guy. Anyway, next up is Jake Hager. His matchup that he had recently on AEW, and dominated, as I'm assuming most people thought, and asked for what happened after with John Moxley. It's going to be an interesting situation. I actually can't wait to see what happens next.
It's I want to say the same thing, but it's also like Hager won't beat Moxley. It won't happen. That's not where this is gonna go. Moxley's gonna beat Hager, but then it's like all that was for nothing. Because if Hager loses, he's not big or powerful or anything. He's just that guy who lost to John Moxley. So if you think a guy who can't talk literally won't talk as champion with Jericho as his I want to say leader, I don't think he's a henchman. He's not gonna be champion. Henchmen are never champion. So my opinion, that was a good match. We're gonna probably see that a couple weeks from now. It's gonna be an awesome match, but Mox is gonna retain. That's just my mindset of it. Hager beating a jobber, that just proves that they're trying to hype him up as a big guy just for him to fall, in my opinion. And I loved the ending. My interpretation for the ending was amazing between Sammy Guevara and Kenny Omega for the AAA Championship. I love the fact that they're using the AAA Championship. I hope they can use more AAA roster members for All Elite Wrestling, and All Elite Wrestling can use their roster for AAA. I'm really hoping. But that match was amazing. With Kenny's injured arm, he still brought up the whole, Kenny Omega grade A match that we would see. Sammy Guevara is no talent you overlook. He did amazing in that match as well. I think, the ending was how it should be. And I think, both men left a winner.
Honestly, I can easily say that was the best match on AEW this week. The AAA Championship is something I didn't originally think was going to be defended on AEW, but ever since it has been for 3 times now, it's been really, really good. I've been enjoying it lately, and I feel like that just shows strong connections, because Kenny Omega defeated fellow AEW superstar Ray Phoenix for the championship. Now, as he did that, it was just really, really talented. It was just the way he did it defends it with. I assume they have a deal, them and AAA. So the fact that they pulled that through, it just shows, oh, well, they're okay with other championship defenses there. I think it's going to be good for the future for not only AAA and All Elite Wrestling, but for future references. Now, as for the match, both men did exactly what they were supposed to do. Sammy Guevara, talented Spanish god, doing what he does best, and then the best bout machine, just dominating, putting in that work, showing he ain't missed a beat. And the fact that he had the balls to put the title on the line too, that just made that just a bit more sweeter. And I feel like that should have ended the show. Now, the Chris Jericho and Matt Hardy thing was good, but I felt like it should have been some in-ring competition that finished it off, especially of that caliber.
Yeah, I agree. I really don't have that much words for the ending of All Elite Wrestling, between Jericho and Hardy, the whole, antics that Hardy pulled, the whole disappearing, appearing, and then Sammy Guevara attacking him, and then Cody coming out, and everyone, there's not much, it wasn't a match. I don't really want to talk about how good, that was, because it was just a regular promo. If you want to waste some time, talk about it, we can, but I think we should just move on from that.
I don't really have any other input. I mean, it was cool. Both of them, phenomenal mic skills, especially Matt Hardy playing his part. But other than that, I don't really have anything else to add.
All right, let's go to NXT. NXT, Justin, we're kind of short on time, so I'll just run by this quicker. Theory and Breeze was amazing. Everything I want in the match. The right man won. The veteran should have won that match, and the right man won. I liked every moment of it. There was a lot of matches, but none of them were so great to love. There were some debuts that happened. Killian Dane. I don't know, Justin. You want to run by this quick? Tony Nese and Cameron Grimes had a great match. Do you want to run by this one, Jason?
Yeah, I can go ahead. Let's see. For it. Tyler Breeze and Austin Theory, really good match, kind of showing that OG can handle the young upstart who I can definitely see a huge future in Austin Theory all day. When you go on Adam Cole, his interview with the championship, he's the longest reigning champion. That's it now. When you go on the debut of the different breed, Ten Hootie versus Killian Dane, that match was pretty good in itself. Nothing too special, but, it put him out there. As for Alea versus Xyla Lee, attacking Xyla Lee in the back, I was a bit disappointed because I wanted to see that match, but we did get to see the return of Io Shirai, and she bounced her way into that ladder match for the number one contendership for the championship or future title shot. The segment with Keith Lee, Dominic Dijakovic, and Damian Priest was just a good setup and a good reason for more competition between the three. I'm sure they're going to kill it next week. Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch again. First off, repping new T-shirts and dominating their matchup as always. Can't wait to see these guys get a little bit more sunshine and limelight in the future. And then as for the main event of Matt Riddle versus Roderick Strong, a good rematch for TakeOver 25 that happened last year with Roderick Strong losing just like he did in this match. But otherwise, good combinations. We did see the dominance and the debut of two huge men. One man known as Rinku and the other is known as Xavier Garger, with their new manager of Malcolm, who was also a former editor of XXL magazine, if you didn't know. Now,
I have a question. Was he also a manager at Evolve Wrestling at one point?
He was a manager in Evolve, and he was also a backstage announcer.
Okay, that's where I remember seeing his face at Evolve. That's why. I remember when TJ left, like when TJP was going to the Cruiserweight Classic, and he had his last match. I remember he came out and gave him a whole bunch of money, threw it in the ring. That's what I remember him from.
And then the final segment of the night was the official reincarnation of the last battle of Tommaso Ciampa versus Johnny Gargano, announced by Triple H. He will find him a location, a place, an empty arena that is not the Performance Center, apparently, and they will have one last battle. But the shock of the world was the video package that we all saw, officially centering possible new face of NXT, Killer Cross.
I cannot wait. I'm super excited. You really talking about NXT perfectly. I have nothing else to ask about NXT, and honestly, NXT, they didn't do as good as AEW in my opinion, but they do a solid job to entertain the audience. Now, usually, me and you don't talk about this, but we have to bring it up because title match and new talent. Let's talk about NXT UK real quickly. Can you give us the quick zoom for NXT UK?
Before I do that, I will tell you this right now. NXT UK was better than Raw, SmackDown, and AEW, in my opinion.
Really? You don't think it was better than NXT?
I do not. For only a reason, because for the first 30 minutes, it's segments and matches nobody really cares about. Now,
wait. You mean Cody and Jimmy and Kip Sabian and Darby? Those are matches no one cared about?
I'm talking about NXT UK matches.
Oh, NXT UK match. I mean, I don't know. Didn't the Imperium debut? Didn't the Imperium start off the show?
No, yes. Imperium started off the show, Eichner and Bart Soul versus Ashton Smith. And see, with the whole match, you knew who was going to win. The match wasn't even 10 minutes in, but it was good. I'll give credit. It was a good match, but easily you can look over that. And the other match they had was Nina Samuels and Valkyrie. But it was a good match. But again, didn't take the cake like I thought it. But the reason why I thought they were better was the announcement not only of the 20-man Battle Royal that will be coming next week, when it will be in the main event against Walter at TakeOver Ireland, but
I cannot wait.
The match between Noam Dar and A-Kid. A fantastic match from technical ability to an escapist known as A-Kid wrestler. This man is a pure indie performer trained by the likes of Tyler Bate, but you can see him enforcing his own wrestling style inside of the ring, escaping moves, doing holds, and I can see a huge future for him as well as Noam Dar, because Noam Dar hasn't even hit 30 yet, and he's still taking everybody on the Nova Roller for Supernova 11. Now, as for the main event of that night, Jordan Devlin versus Travis Banks, probably one of my favorite Cruiserweight Championship defenses in a while that I have seen with the Irish Ace and the Kiwi Buzzsaw. It was a back and forth action for 20 straight minutes of nonstop action. Now, the way Jordan Devlin and Travis Banks competed together, it was almost like they've done it before, which they have in Falls Count Anywhere matches and Notice Qualification matches and all the rest. But this match was better than all of the past ones, and it shows why these two are definitely the future of NXT UK.
Yep. All right. I mean, that's all for our NXT portion. Let's get to, because we are short on time. We're in already 49 minutes in this already, and we still got to talk about our weekly top 5 matches. We're gonna go fast through it. So let's just bring up the final company that we're missing, and that is SmackDown Not Live, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let me start off with SmackDown, because I'm disappointed with how much they could do and how much they're not doing. So another thing that we all know is that Goldberg and Roman are set to fight at Mania. Even though sources are telling me that Roman Reigns refuses to do that and will not show up at Mania. WWE is still giving us false hope that that's going to happen because they're not telling us the truth. I don't know if you heard about that, Jason. Did you hear about that?
I did.
All right. I think the whole Bayley and Sasha Banks thing starting off the show was very, in my opinion, boring. I mean, not until all the women came out and then had a nice, meet and greet before the match. But I think the whole beginning of them just talking was really. I think it should have been like all the women are already in the ring type, like for the Money in the Bank. They like to do Money in the Bank. I wish they did that for that. Nakamura and Gulak, amazing match. I think the right man won. I was so happy. Elias and Baron Corbin. I really wasn't, on board with this match until, the whole throwing Elias off the whole, just throwing him off the edge. I think that was amazing. I think that now I'm more interested. Alexa Bliss versus Asuka. As Nikki in commentary was hilarious, and having Alexa show that she's still, there and is still doing what she's doing best, and that's wrestling. I love that. Asuka, she had a lot of hype on her, and I wanted her to lose only because she's already doing so much. So I'm happy that Alexa finally got the win and is, putting herself in the match. I'm enjoying that. I like that they're doing that. I told myself this. I said I don't care about the Roman Reigns and Triple H match. I didn't care about it during WrestleMania, and I really won't care about it when they show it again. So I completely zoned out and was doing other things. And then the main event, I immediately said this to myself. I'm like, we both know how this is gonna end. It's gonna be DQ. It's gonna be all these men in the tag team. And in my opinion is what's gonna happen is the minute this match hits Mania, Miz and Morrison will win because they'll pin, the other guys. If it was, everyone thought that this was going to be New Day versus the Usos, winner will face Miz and Morrison. But no, Miz and Morrison are going to win because there's so much other guys in the ring, They have the advantage now. It's easier when there's other guys in the ring to retain a title. So,
however, did you hear about the stipulation that was added to the match?
No, it was a ladder match, no?
Yes.
Yeah, I still think it's easier. I still think it's... Because Miz and Morrison are, in my opinion... Well, Morrison, my opinion, is very high-flying. Kofi is very high-flying. And the Usos are very high-flying. And I can see the Usos and Big E and Kofi, they just had their spout. They have respect for each other. I can see Miz and Morrison playing them very well. In the match. I can see them playing all guys very well in the match. Anything you want to comment about SmackDown Live, Jason?
SmackDown Live was what it was. I agree with you with pretty much all the... Yeah, you pretty much just hit it on the ball. Yeah, that's about it. I am going to look forward to the Triple Threat Tag Team ladder match because the ladder matches always interest me, especially when you got Kofi Kingston, the Usos, and Big E in it. And then when you got the hardcore skills of John Morrison and the veteran experience of Miz winning multiple ladder matches in his day, I'm actually looking forward to that match. Now, it may seem like, it's going to happen. What happens, happens. But I'm still interested in a good old-fashioned ladder match, especially with tag teams.
All right, take us home with 205 Live.
Ooh, 205 Live this week. Now, when it comes down to the matches, now 205 Live, if no, 205 Live has officially went from an hour to now 30 minutes, if you guys know. Now, what happened this week was two matches. One of the matches which was the main event, was Tony Nese versus Oney Lorcan. And then the other match was Joaquin Wilde and Isaiah Swerve Scott. Both matches were intense, great. Both got 15 minutes each, to the point of it was honestly just a clash of styles for both matches. You got and then you also got
Hey, Jason, you cut out, so can you repeat that?
Yeah, sure. It's with Swerve, you have the lightning fast techniques and skills, and then you have Joaquin Wild's sense of urgency and multiple movesets of he can hit you from literally any different direction. Now, Joaquin Wild is also from Chicago. If you didn't know that, he represents and he is doing great. And honestly, I see a lot for him in the future, especially along the lines of 205 Live. As for the main event, it was exactly what I expected because it's not the first time Tony Nese and Oni Lorcan have fought before. So I feel like if you haven't seen it, then I won't spoil it. But the winner of the match was extremely expected, and it's his time to shine one more time. It's time for him to get a cruiserweight title opportunity once in a while.
All right. I just want to point out that Joaquin Wild is DJZ from Impact. So if you guys did not know that, now you do. And it is awesome seeing him on WWE. He deserves it. All right. Jason, we talked about this week. Now we got to, go quick through our, what are we doing? We're doing Impact, right? We missed out last week when we missed out on giving you our, favorite Impact matches for you guys, the audience, to watch. So now we're going to give you our list, and you guys can check it out. Jason, want to start with your list?
All right. Should I just go with all 5 off the bat?
Sure, and I'll do mine.
All right. This is my top 5 TNA matches that you should watch. First on the list, I'll say these. I'll say these quickly, but I'll say them in a loud, proud voice. AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, Samoa Joe. Easily either one of the triple threat matches that they had, because they had both. They had 2 of them, and they were both amazing. Jeff Hardy versus Kurt Angle, Victory Road 2012. Great match, amazing show-stealing abilities and technique. Sting versus Jeff Jarrett at Bound for Glory. Match where Sting just made his return. He's ready to go, he's ready to fight, and he's ready to put them all down. Bully Ray versus Jeff Hardy inside of Lethal Lockdown. This match defined a new era for TNA wrestling, including all members of Aces and Ace with the shock factor of everything. And then my favorite TNA match of all time would be Kurt Angle versus AJ Styles in any of the matches, but Genesis 2010 is definitely my favorite match of all time in TNA due to the choice that AJ Styles had to make and the first ever bout where there was no interruptions, there was no fighting, and there was no outside interferences that were seen by the ref, quote unquote.
All right, well, as a fellow Impact fan, every match that he listed is by far on the top 10 list. And none of those are on my list because I want to change it up. And I'm happy that he gave you the best possible matches I could have heard. Those were all of them. From Jeff Hardy to Jeff Jarrett to all those are amazing matches. I like all of them. So I'm going to give you my list. These are not in order of best. These are just matches I think you should check out. Tigre Uno versus Manic versus DJZ versus Andrew Everett in an Ultimate X match. Also on YouTube. Bound of Glory 2009, the Ultimate X match. Probably my favorite match from Impact. The Bound of Glory 2009 AJ Styles versus Sting match. Ultimate X match, the Wolves versus the Revolution versus DJZ and Jesse Gorders. Sacrifice 2011, AJ Styles versus Tommy Dreamer. No DQ match. And Amazing Red, Debut versus Low Key. That's one of my favorite matches. And then the most modern one is TJP versus Vikingo. If you guys have not checked it out, Impact's definitely had the most recent best match was this one right there.
Wow. Those matches are definitely bangers, and I have seen all of them, and I agree. Those are matches you guys should check out. If you like any of those lists, you can always look on Impact Plus, or hey, you maybe go on a Google search and find them. But I recommend all 10 of these matches we've listed. They're all bangers, and they're sure to leave you guys breathless.
Yep. All right, Jason, where are we now on our list?
We are going to go over Ring of Honor.
Okay.
Ring of Honor in general is honestly one of the greatest companies to have multiple potential just to die out so quickly, but to slowly bring back process. Right now, the current status of Ring of Honor Wrestling is you got a good fan base watching it. You got the Honor Club. You got everything, every fact in there, but they're still missing one of the lead facts of, hey, I wonder what could boost up these ratings to make people watch this again. Now, the answer that I would put in there immediately is New Japan Pro Wrestling. You know, you brought Tama Tonga and Tongaloa in there to feud with the Briscoes, and I watched all those matches, from their brawls to their ladder matches. Everything in those matches were amazing, and that was just a taste of New Japan goodness inside the little small seed of Ring of Honor. Not to say Ring of Honor can't do it without New Japan, but saying it would be a lot easier if they did it with New Japan and then bounce off of the success that they make off of pay-per-views, shows, live events, and more with champions and going around and being able to defend those championships in New Japan and vice versa, with New Japan titles being defended in a Ring of Honor ring, such as like G1 Supercard with Taiji Ishimori when he defended his championship and ultimately lost it to Dragon Lee. And then you throw in with Will Ospreay and Jeff Cobb at that time, who are with both of those companies for 2 titles, to have Jeff Cobb win the championship and move back over to New Japan to defend it. Things like that work in wrestling. And with Ring of Honor, if they do those steps and do that, they can easily boost themselves to the top without a doubt in my mind and go back to the success that they had back in the day.
Jason, you stole the words right out of my mouth. Literally, that was on my, literally all those ideas and opinions were exactly what I was going to say. They need New Japan. They were high when they had New Japan. They're not as high now. You know. I didn't even want to ruin what you said. It was too spot on. What's next on our list?
Next on the list, we're gonna go with top Ring of Honor 5 matches.
All right, I'm gonna do my 5, and then you do your 5.
Sure.
All right, we got ROH Will Ospreay versus Jay White. The Kingdom versus Cody and the Young Bucks for the 6-man tag titles. Kenny Omega versus Cody, Supercard of Honor. Final battle, Cody versus Jay Lethal. And then this one is honorable mentions, Flip Gordon versus Bandito versus PJ Black versus Caristico, or Flip Gordon versus Flamita. And the last one, The Elite versus Kushida, Matt Sydal, and ACH.
Yeah, alrighty. The matches that I definitely for my top 5 would be Red Dragon versus the Young Bucks on regular Ring of Honor programming. Triple threat between AJ Styles, Adam Cole, and Kyle O'Reilly on Ring of Honor TV. That final battle, Zack Sabre Jr. versus John Grisham. Cody Rhodes versus Jay Lethal at Final Battle. And my final and favorite match of Ring of Honor would be Kyle O'Reilly versus AJ Styles at Death Before Dishonor about 3 years ago.
All right. I think we're almost down to our final topics, right, Jason?
Yes. We only got about 2 topics left and a little bit of time left.
Yeah, we got a good 10 more minutes, so let's wrap it up.
Me and Eric went over the past few days on top Ring of Honor champions. We could not come to an agreement, however, so we've decided to
let you guys, the audience, decide this one.
Exactly. So we have decided to ask between you guys, best Ring of Honor championship between my pick, Adam Cole, and Eric's pick,
Christopher Daniels.
please comment in the YouTube description or on our Instagram if you want to on Top Champion.
All right. Are we on our last topic now?
Our final topic, which we will stretch out for the next couple of minutes, will be WrestleMania, the one pay-per-view that has not been canceled yet, and how we feel about it currently. Go ahead,
Jason. Here's the game we're going to play. You're going to give me the match. I'm going to tell you my opinion on it. All right? And then you tell me yours.
Okay.
Give me a match.
Randy Orton Rated R Superstar Edge.
How dare they give Edge's debut singles match in an empty arena? That's my logic. My logic is, how can someone like Edge, who came out of a neck injury for how many years?
8, 9?
8 or 9 years hasn't wrestled in the ring, and when he comes back, it'll be to an empty arena. I'm sorry, but that's just unacceptable for me as a fan. That the company would do that to me, you know? Or those of you who bought WrestleMania tickets for that match just to get disappointed. How do you feel about that, Jason?
I feel like the match, it does suck that it'll be in an empty arena, and I wish they could delay it for a little bit longer until this virus goes away. However, match-wise, I feel like it'll be a great matchup.
I agree too. I think it's gonna be a great match, but I'll be disappointed if it is. Next match, Jason.
A new recent match that just got added on Ultimate Down: Sami Zayn versus Daniel Bryan for the Intercontinental title.
I think this is amazing. I think that Sami Zayn and Daniel Bryan are almost on the same level as entertaining and as a wrestler. They both have that mentality of who you want more to win. Sami Zayn, we haven't seen much of him yet as as the NXT version that we used to see. But I feel like the NXT version of Sami Zayn is the modern day Daniel Bryan. So if we get that, I will enjoy it. But I will be disappointed if we get, Cesaro and Shinsuke interrupt the match. DQ or somehow let Sami Zayn win when I know he could do it on his own if he really tried hard enough.
I feel like Sami Zayn and Daniel Bryan will be a good match. We will hopefully see a little bit more of Sami Zayn's moveset due to the fact that we haven't for the past couple of months. So I feel like this is going to be a good one.
I agree.
Next matchup, triple threat ladder match for the SmackDown Live tag titles.
I think I already said my statement for this. Miz and Morrison. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. I think those guys are going to steal the win for themselves. I think they have the veteran tactic to interfere with the bond of the New Day and the Usos, and I think they'll go up the line, and I think they'll take the titles and retain. What do you think?
I think it's finally time for New Day to get their WrestleMania moment together, both of them. So I'm gonna go with New Day, and I cannot wait. One of the matches I'm very excited for.
All right.
Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair for the NXT title.
This is the kind of match where it's like, are they really going to put Charlotte Flair back to NXT?
She asked for it. She said she wanted to go back.
She did, but I'm not saying that. I'm saying, do you think they would physically put her back in NXT over the amount of merch and fame she has over the WWE universe? I don't know who's going to win this, and that's actually one match I'm excited for, so we'll have to see. I could see her wanting to go back. I could see Triple H taking her back. I can't see Vince McMahon letting her go. That's my interpretation of this. The winner, undecided.
I feel like the match is going to be really good. I've always wanted to see these two wrestle ever since I saw Rhea Ripley debut, because for the women's evolution to continue on being as proud as it is, you got to step into those barriers like NXT, and I feel like Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair just made history by stepping into that barrier after winning the Royal Rumble and challenging an NXT champion for the first time.
Yeah.
Now, Next matchup we're going to have here John Cena versus The Fiend in possibly a Firefly Funhouse match.
You know, as all of us wrestling fans know, this is the typical Cena took the last laugh. Now Bray Wyatt's going this is in Bray Wyatt's own home game. He's got the home game advantage. I'm going with Bray Wyatt. I'm going with The Fiend's going to beat Cena. This will not be over, though. I believe that, Vince has already have plans for SummerSlam and that, Cena will probably versus Bray. I don't know what's going to happen after, but I do know that The Fiend is definitely going to take the win. And it won't be easy, but I do feel like he's got every advantage possible over Cena, who's ring rusted right now.
All right, I feel like the same way. The Fiend's going to take this one, make his very first WrestleMania moment.
All right.
Elias versus Baron Corbin.
I feel like this is the kind of match where a special member of the wrestling universe will come in, like a Hulk Hogan or Stone Cold or some legend, Hall of Famer, do something on their leg or something. I feel like this will be one of those laughing matches where everyone thinks Corbin's gonna win, but then Elias wins over fan favorite wise. I don't think this is gonna lead to Shane McMahon versus The Miz at Mania. I don't think it's gonna be anywhere near that.
Honestly, I don't see anything special for this match. I mean, I'm sure these two are going to have a good matchup, but I don't see anything special with it.
I feel like the NWO interrupt or something, giving Elias the win. That's all I could see.
Maybe. Next matchup, we're going to have AJ Styles versus The Undertaker.
All right, here. This is the one where it's like, I got to be full honest with everyone. If Taker loses to AJ, that's it. He should not come back from this. That is him passing the torch to one of the best stars in wrestling. If he beats AJ, who else will put down the Taker? That's my only concern. Everyone's dream match is AJ versus Taker. Because they can't get AJ versus Shawn. That's done. AJ versus Taker is probably everyone's pick in this match. But it's also like, I don't see Taker losing. But if he does, it should be it for him. So I'm going to go with Taker.
I honestly feel like they might do something different this year. I feel like AJ Styles might take that victory.
And then what?
Associate himself as officially the man. Homie has done it all officially.
I'm talking about the Undertaker. And then we're for the Undertaker, Jason.
Undertaker needs to walk away, unfortunately, is how I feel.
The worst thing that's going to happen is if AJ does beat Taker, we might get a rematch at SummerSlam. And
that's one way to sell tickets.
That is, and Vince McMahon definitely smells, the bread when it comes to these things.
Alrighty. Aleister Black versus Bobby Lashley.
Let's go, Bobby. You had such a big push when it came to Rusev, and Black has been fighting every week. No one knows where you are at the moment. I want Bobby Lashley to be the dominator. I want him to prove that he is at this point in his career that he can achieve the big wins. So we just gotta wait to see. You got Black, I got Lashley. We all know why Black is your pick. He's been dominating day in and day out since he started with Raw. There's so much. Anything else? Any other matches, Jason?
Street Profits versus Andrade.
I do not want to talk about that match. I don't want to. I already gave everyone my opinion on this when we talked about Raw. If Andrade and Garza win, there were so many other tag teams that deserved the opportunity. And if they got it, that's just, again, Vince McMahon looking for money, merch, popularity. And if the Street Profits win, they just beat two of the top talents on Raw. It's like the United States champion loses to the tag team. There's just so much going wrong for that match, in my opinion. There's no easy way out.
I agree. Honestly, I mean, I'm not really. All I see is basic tag title match that I could see on Raw. But hey, maybe they'll step up and do it because both teams are talented. So you never know, man. You might get something good out of that.
Yep.
Next match, Fatal 5-Way SmackDown Women's Title match.
I think it's Tamina's time to shine.
All right. Honestly, I kind of want Sasha Banks to win, but I would really be happy if Lacey Evans won or Naomi. And pretty much, honestly, I'd be happy if anybody but Bayley retained. She's already proved that she's, longest reigning champion. It's time for her to give that belt up.
I agree.
All right, Becky Lynch versus Shayna Baszler for the Raw Women's title.
I can care less about that match.
Alrighty then. And our final match of the night, Brock Lesnar versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE.
My money is on Lesnar. I want McIntyre. I want McIntyre. My money is on Lesnar.
That is something else.
But I do want McIntyre. If I'm a betting man, I'm gonna go with Lesnar. But that's not who I want.
Well, for the other fans, I'm going for Drew McIntyre because I have 100% faith in him. He is going to put the final boot in that Claymore down Lesnar's throat, hopefully kick him finally out of the building, and we get a fresh champion, the chosen one, the man who should have been held on to that gold and that strap.
I hope. I really do hope. That's all for WrestleMania, Jason?
That is all for WrestleMania.
All right, so let's talk about one thing. It's 2 nights, which is really disappointing because the hype for Mania should only be 1 night. I don't like that it's 2 nights. The fact that Vince McMahon couldn't wait for this to blow over, for there to be an audience, is very disappointing. I just think this Mania will probably be the worst Mania in all of WWE. That's my opinion on this, especially if, the wrong guys win. Like, let's say Lesnar retains. That'd be terrible. This will not be a great Mania. We just have to wait and see. I'm going completely negative with this. I'm completely negative with Mania. I disagree with everything they're doing. As a true wrestling fan, I cannot enjoy this, and I will not influence this behavior of what they say it's for the fans. It's not really for the fans. Any comment for that, Jason?
Well, when it comes to all pay-per-views, I never set my expectations high unless I know the card is stacked. This card isn't stacked, but expectations are at I'd say about a 6 right now. So especially with this whole empty arena situation. So if they get past a 6, I'll give it a thumbs up. But looking forward to matches. Only a couple on my mind at the moment. I think WrestleMania, I'm not going to say it's the worst. It's going to be the worst Mania because there have been some worse Manias, even when they had a packed house. So I just want to see how they do. And after that, then maybe we could bash on them a little bit.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We went way beyond time than we thought we would. I'm your co-host, Eric Novak.
I am Jason Smith.
And we will see you guys next week with a special guest. I believe Damian Drake will be interviewed by yours truly. And if you guys don't know who he is, check him out. He is one of the biggest future talents you will see today. He works for FSW. He has wrestled for Impact, ROH. He has shown up in AEW. He has shown up in WWE. Check him out. He is phenomenal. I've seen cage matches. I've seen tag matches, singles matches. You will not be disappointed when you see this man and hear his story next week. Jason, anything you want to say about that before we cut this off?
Honestly, I won't be there for the interview. It will be one-on-one personal with Eric and Damian Drake. However, I have left couple of questions of my own to Eric, and I just want to say I am very happy that he has taken a time out of his busy schedule to help us out, to give Eric a whole lot of information. Eric's going to kill it. He's going to kill it. And honestly, I'm going to be just like you guys in the crowd, waiting for the results and waiting for the interview to pop up on the channel. On our follow us on our Instagram that will be put in our YouTube bio, and also follow us on Twitter where we put it on, and it should be on there in probably a couple hours after we post this video. So thanks for having me, Eric.
What do you mean thanks for having you, man? You're a part of this podcast. Jason, next time we do an interview, I promise we'll get you on. Sorry for the bad timing, but don't worry, guys. Jason wrote all these questions. None of the wrestling questions are mine. They're all Jason's. So give credit where credit is due, because these are some amazing and hard to think questions. We will see you guys next week. Thank you so much for listening to us about our opinions over this week's wrestling. Thank you so much for listening to our opinions over WrestleMania. We only care about what you guys have to say. And the question is, ROH best champion, Christopher Daniels or Adam Cole, baby? Thank you. And we will see you guys in the comments board. And we will see you guys next week for the interview.
See you around.
All right, how do you think we did on that?
Is the camera off?
The camera is off.
Eric?
Yeah?
We kind of rushed through a lot of stuff.
We rushed through a lot of stuff, bro. You know how much time we had? We had no time.
How come we didn't have any time?
It was an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, we was almost hit the hour when we was first record.
Oh.
God damn.
Jason, how do you think we did?
Next week we're gonna do something new with the timing. We're going to do we're gonna talk it out, like how long this should take. We're gonna actually go through a good business meeting. I don't think that will